I'm making this video because I wanted to support Shay's Shelf, who is promoting a protest for August 1st. Complete blackout on African braiding shops, restaurants, and stores, right? I'm absolutely here for this. I'm showing my support because I do this in my everyday life. I do not shop with the Africans.
Last week, a Nigerian by the name of Prince_Soki on TikTok went viral for saying something really interesting.
If we didn't come here, some of you wouldn't even have that mindset to be trying to endeavor in different type of businesses.
In this case, he's saying if it wasn't for Africans coming to America, Black Americans wouldn't even understand, certain kind of businesses. Now, there is a different kind of business that exists, especially amongst women, which are braiding shops. Now, don't get me wrong, women have always had braiding shops in the Black community, but for whatever reason, it seems to be a subgenre of braiding called African braiding shops.
Huh?
And I wouldn't know because I haven't had hair since Barack Obama was the president.
Got him!
And these braiding shops are popular, especially amongst the East Coast corridor and Black cities in the South. If you go to New Jersey, New York, Baltimore, Atlanta, DC, you will see a lot of African immigrants there. And of course, they have braiding shops that not only cater to the needs of their own community, but to people in the #FBA community, most notably women. And I was on its own site today looking for another story to do when I came across a young lady that's saying this.
I'm making this video because I wanted to support Shay's Shelf, who is promoting a protest for August 1st. Complete blackout on African braiding shops, restaurants, and stores, right? I'm absolutely here for this. I'm showing my support because I do this in my everyday life. I do not shop with the Africans. Ain't no African ever braided my hair, put their hands in my head, or none of that, right? I don't do the restaurants. I stopped like years ago. I do not shop with their stores. If I walk into a store and I accidentally realize, not for me, right? So she's encouraging that we do an August 1st protest all through the month of August. I think it should continue throughout for the rest of the year, right? Let them really feel the heat, okay? Because they are confused about who they are, who we are, and what this is all about, right? They're so busy licking boots, they don't seem to want to give us our respect. They need a wake-up call, right? Because clearly they don't understand that the large majority of why you are even in the space that you're in is because of us, and that our dollars are the ones that pay your bills. Because we black them out, I want to see how many white people are finna support y'all, right? I want to see how many of y'all businesses is really going to be able to stay afloat month after month of Black people not supporting you.
Now, this creator is Ray.Bands4, and she basically got inspired by another creator on TikTok by the name of Sib Absolutely. And this is a lady that does reaction videos. She doesn't really do a whole lot of talking, but she has this petition going on that wants to boycott African businesses, in particular restaurants and African braiding shops. And it's all because of this online beef going on between #FBA and also the Africans. And she's making the point that, listen, let's see if your businesses can survive without us supporting them because, well, number one, it's more of us than it is of you. And it's time for us to put you back in your place because without our money, you can't survive.
Damn.
But wait, there's more.
Okay, so my next focal point for this protest, right, is promoting Black-owned businesses, services, restaurants, you know what I'm saying, things like that. So if you are an indigenous person of color, I'm going to ask you to send me your service information, send me your restaurant information, send me your product information, whatever it is, right? So we can support one another throughout this protest.
Now, while she has a plan to take down the African businesses, she wants to uplift the #FBA or Black American businesses. She would like to promote the businesses from our community while at the same time diminishing the support from the businesses from the continental African or African diaspora based communities. And I thought that, well, that's interesting because not every African is like what she's describing. I don't understand the whole idea as to why somebody would waste their time doing that. But again, this is just based off of, beef and, hey, this is what we're at now and we don't really like you. You don't like us. So let's boycott you. And allegedly this boycott will start August the 1st. But then I went and typed in African braid shop boycott on TikTok. And what I found was interesting.
I want to get small braids so bad, but who's going to do my hair? Ain't nobody going to do this. They are not about to braid this. I want small box braids.
Now here we have a pregnant sister that's moved from her home city and state to someplace else. And she usually only trusts one person with her hair. And that's the person in the former state that she used to live in. She wants her hair a certain style. She wants small box braids. But where she lives right now, she just doesn't trust anybody else with them. But what she said next is shocking.
I ain't got time to be driving 5 hours to go to the city I was born in to get my hair done. I don't think nobody up here gonna do it. And the Africans, they not pulling my hair out.
She says, and the Africans, I'm not gonna have them pulling my hair. Now, she doesn't talk about the bad experiences of dealing with Africans, but if you look at the caption, she says it clearly. I will never get my hair braided by the Africans, never again. What this indicates is she's tried to work with the African braid shops and the experience was horrible. Now, this has nothing to do with the hashtag FBA or hashtag ADOS beef. This is a business versus customer relationship where the customer felt dissatisfied by the product they received from the business and the business never tried to fix it. So the customer went away with a sour taste in their mouth. But wait, there's more.
Hey, Mrs. Queens, tell me why I've been in here. Y'all know I'm getting ready for my birthday, right? Tell me why I've been in here since yesterday at 10 o'clock p.m. It's 8:01. I just want to say I love Africans. So the lady that does my hair, she been doing it for 18 years, and I'm cheating on her. That's why when you cheat on your stylist, that's what happens, right? Africans are so rude. So rude.
Now, this sister lives in New York City. I believe she says Harlem. Now, you'll find probably the majority of these African braid shops in the East Coast corridor, most notably between New York City, Philadelphia, and New Jersey. And she says, hey, listen, I got here at 10. It's now 8. So I've been here for 24 hours and it's just been a terrible experience. Now, she does admit that she typically does let another lady, I believe the lady's African, do her hair, but she went and tried somebody else this time. And as you heard, she said that the African braider was rude. Again, this is a lady saying, I love Africans. So in so many words, I'm not really caught up into the beef between hashtag FBA or Black American versus African, but the Africans, they are rude. And so here's what happens. When we deal with somebody that's not in our community, we're not going to give them a second chance like we would somebody else. If we're going to be honest, if we're going to Leroy's Chicken and Grits house or Mama's and Them barbecue and the food is terrible, it's not bad, or the service is bad, Black soul food restaurants, you get there at 8 o'clock, they be dragging their feet and it'd be like 9 o'clock before you get the food, but the food is so good, you will continue to deal with it because the food is so good. And sometimes they ain't got sweet potato pie. You know what I mean? Well, you know how it is. They ain't got no dressing in the back. Yeah, banana pudding ain't in stock. But because it's them, we willing to do that because those are our people. The issue is that just because Nigerians or Ghanaians or Senegalese, and I think a lot of these ladies that do the African braid shops, a lot of them might come from the Francophone African countries, Senegal, Ivory Coast, some of the French speaking ones. It's hard for us to want to give them a second chance, especially if the price is higher than expected, which, that's something to be talked about, but the service isn't good. Now it's going to be, it's the Africans. And that's just natural. It's the same thing as if Africans have a problem with the Black Americans. We don't really have a lot of times to get it right if we offend somebody of a foreign community, and we are foreign to each other. Even if we live in the same place, we are in the same diaspora, but we have less chances to get it wrong, right? It's not going to be very many. And that's something that we have to note. This other person lives in Atlanta, okay? And she had also a terrible experience with African braid shops.
All right, let me start out by saying if the background looks familiar, then please do not tag or mention them because I'm not trying to bash nobody's business. But I had a terrible experience there. And when I say I got my ass up and I went over to Cunty Hair Braiding on Instagram, baby. Now you see how packed it was. It was very packed in there. But girl, they got right to it. The braider, Sally, she even gave me some food. Y'all, she ate them braids up.
Now, this individual did not want to give the name of the braid shop, but it's interesting, the background, she's telling you indirectly, like, hey, look at this particular braid shop. I don't want to hate on nobody's business, but it was terrible. She ended up going to someplace else, which I believe from what she said, or I can infer that it was a Black American. The person gave her some food. It could have still been another African, I'm not sure, but she was so happy with that. But she did mention in this same clip, African braid shop, right? Like, terrible experience at a popular African braid shop in ATL. Again, we do not hear any animosity towards Africans. It's just a braid shop, all right? And so that is the first bad experience. Now, here we have another individual who is from the city of Memphis, and her experience, well, let's check it out.
Hey y'all, do not come to Calfini's African Braiding Shop on 625 Chelsea Avenue in Memphis, Tennessee. Let me tell you why. So let's start where I came in. They opened at 9. I came at like 9:40. They didn't start on my hair till 11, which is completely fine because I didn't have an appointment, right? Now this is not the first time I've came to this place. This is the 4th time because they're usually fast and I don't have to have an appointment. So me waiting an hour was not the problem, okay? Cool. So we get to doing my hair. It takes longer than usual. Usually it takes about 5 hours. I was there from her starting on my hair from 11 till about 5:30. I had to leave to go pick up my stepdaughter to take her to the airport, and I came back for her to finish, right? And it's because she had to braid down. When I came back, they cut this side of my hair because I'm guessing she didn't like it. But come to find out, it was because my part is not in the middle. Okay? Didn't know that till I got home. Because I was tired, so I didn't look at my hair and it's braids. Like, it's not a real hairstyle. Who the, you know what I'm saying? Anyway, so come to find out, my part is not in the middle, and I had a braid, which was this braid that I didn't even let them dip because I'm just so over it.
Now, in this case, she actually shouts out the actual business in which she felt that she was done wrong, which is different from the lady in Atlanta. And she's saying the same thing. I wanted a part clearly in my head the way she wants. I mean, I don't know. I'm bald and I don't have no hair.
Boy, you don't sit your stupid ass down. Who the f you think you is?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just down bad right now. But she's saying I'm having a customer service issue. I spend my time, I go in there, I'm asking you to give me something you haven't gave me, or you haven't given me what I want, at least not this time, because she did say I've been there 4 times before. And again, this is another customer service issue. So what happens? Now, let me just talk about this. From the time that we've been discussing the African diaspora beefs, it's all because of what somebody said online or to you, maybe real time or online from the African community. One of the ways that the communities have disdain for each other is when you're basically doing a service for somebody in the Black diaspora and you don't do a good job and you inconvenience somebody and you don't take care of that person. Then what happens is you create an enemy to Black unity. And again, we can't expect everybody to be mature and say, listen, we can give the brother a second or third chance. Not everybody's going to do that. And so what happens is you have a bad experience on the braid shop, and then people come online and start talking about their experiences. And now everybody wants to feel a certain type of way. And so the reality is that it's not just xenophobia based on differences or reparations, or you're trying to replace me, or you're trying to tether me. A lot of people have bad experiences based on the fact that I trusted you in business, you didn't care, and you were apathetic. And I will tell you, the same complaints that you guys have in America with the braid shops is something that I experience in Africa all the time, in Uganda all the time. All right? Then no accountability, blaming somebody else, not caring. And then so that same attitude with some of these immigrants, it comes to, wherever they go, in Dubai, to America. This is not to say that you don't have great African braid shops that are professional. I'm sure that you do, right? But I'm talking about this, and this is how people start to really dislike a certain group. Because if you start doing things wrong and you don't have any empathy towards your client, it's what it becomes. And then now people don't want to do any business with you because you don't care. This is not for good African businesses or bad Black American businesses. It's just that this is how the diaspora wars come about. Whereas I started trying to support you and I tried to help you. I tried to give you business. You effed over me. You didn't care. You had no sympathy for or empathy for how you did me. And so now I don't like y'all no more. And if somebody else comes to me with bad experiences, now I'm gonna talk about the Africans. Now they're the problem. You see what I'm saying? And this is what causes diaspora wars. People start off trying to be Pan-African and trying to be an assistance. And then once that is broken down and that trust barrier is broken down, oh no, don't trust them. Don't go deal with them. They don't care nothing about you. They have bad customer service. And then what happens in that whole ordeal is people don't say, well, no, not everybody's like that. No, it's true. We know that certain people are good in every community, but we're not going to say that. Most people are going to just go ahead and say demonize the whole group. So if that person's having to be Nigerian and you're Ghanaian and a good hairdresser is Senegalese, the Senegalese person pays the price for the Nigerian, and the Senegalese and the Nigerian look at each other differently, but we're going to classify you as those Africans, right? And this is why when we deal with each other, we got to be on point. We already know situations are touchy as it is around the Black world. We have to actually make a better impression on somebody that's not in our group than somebody who's in our group. If I'm living in Uganda, I got to make sure that I'm on my stuff. I can't be playing around out here. And this is the same thing for anybody. If you're dealing with Black Americans, you're Nigerian, you're Ghanaian, you got a business, be on point. Be at the best you can be for any customer, but specifically people who are not in your group. Because if you're not, people are going to talk. So guys, what do you think? It's your boy, Shady Jackson, back at it again with another episode of The Celebrity Junk. I appreciate you for all you do. Subscribe to the bell. We're out.